Hi everybody, thanks for watching. So welcome to another installment of quick tips for your Mavic Pro. So I've had my Mavic Pro for about 6 months now. And over that time I've learned a lot of things, I've read a lot of things, I've experienced a lot of things. Today what I want to share with you guys is 8 random thoughts that I have on owning the Mavic Pro over the past 6 months. So last winter I finally decided that instead of dreaming about getting a drone, I was finally going to break down and get one. And I knew that I wanted something that was good, something quality, something that was going to last for a long time, but I didn't really have enough money to get something like that. And so every time I walk by that little kiosk in the mall, many of you probably have that, you know, it's a little drone kiosk and remote control car kiosk. And every time I walk by I thought, you know, I should get one of those and see if it's maybe a hobby that I will enjoy. But then one day I was walking through the mall and the guy was flying them around and he almost crashed into a mall walker. And I thought, you know, even this guy that flies them every day, and you know, for about $200 you could get a drone from him, but it wasn't very stable and he almost injured somebody with it. So I decided, you know, maybe that isn't the best way to learn. Yes, it's inexpensive and you can learn to have fun with it, but you know, I wanted something that was going to be more stable, something that was going to be easier to fly for a beginner. And so that day I went home, I got on the computer, I went to the DJI website, and I actually purchased the Mavic Pro. Now let me tell you, it was one of the best purchases that I've ever made. So today I want to share with you some of the things that I've learned over the past 6 months of owning the Mavic Pro. Basically it's 8 random thoughts, you know, it's not really organized, but some things that I think are important for somebody who's looking to get a Mavic Pro or has recently got a Mavic Pro. Now the first thing, when you first get your Mavic Pro, you can fly it in beginner mode, what's called beginner mode. And you know, basically what that does, it limits your height, it limits your speed, it kind of slows everything down. But I did not find that mode useful. What I found more useful was the tripod mode. Tripod mode is a lot like beginner mode, but it's more fun. You have a little more leniency on what you can do, a little more freedom on what you can do, but yet everything is slowed down and you can still get some really cool footage. My second random thought, obstacle avoidance and vision positioning on the Mavic Pro is incredible. I talk about it all the time. I think this is probably the 4th video that I've done where I rave about the obstacle avoidance, but it really is cool. I'm going to put a couple of videos in the description down below. I'll put them up here too if you want to look at those and see how the obstacle avoidance is so cool. You know, if you're looking to get a drone and you're going to spend some money on it, this is the one to get because DJI has the most incredible technology when it comes to obstacle avoidance. My third random thought is, you know, the Mavic Pro comes with all kinds of intelligent flight modes. You know, modes that can make your flying experience more enjoyable. And my favorite one of all is the point of interest mode. It's very simple to do. You just fly above whatever you want to highlight in your video. You set that as point of interest, and then you can back up or go up or down from it. Hit go, and then it will fly a circle around that point of interest. And then while it's flying around that point of interest, you can change the altitude, you can change the distance, and so you can get some really cinematic footage without having to put too much thought into it. And that's really useful for beginners. The fourth thing that I want to mention is when you upgrade the firmware on your Mavic Pro, just be aware that they're not always that great. Sometimes when they upgrade your firmware, it goes backwards on certain things. One thing that I really don't like, and it hasn't been fixed yet, is I cannot run a waypoint mode on my Mavic Pro. Now, I haven't contacted DJI to see what I can do about that, but it was really disappointing because I'm using the waypoint mode to get some video footage of some construction near my home, and I wanted to get that exact same flight, and I can't do that anymore because the waypoint mode won't work since my last firmware update. So overall, the upgrades are important and they're useful, but just be aware sometimes when you upgrade, some things may go wrong with your Mavic Pro. The 5th point that I'd like to mention is I've talked to DJI customer service twice. Now the first time it went really well, really smoothly. The second time when I contacted them when my active tracking was not working correctly, that was not as smooth. You know, the operator was helpful, but he wasn't that knowledgeable, and it took a long time to get an answer, and I still don't know if it was the correct answer. So just be aware if you ever call customer service that you're going to get some inconsistent results. The other thing from what I've read on some of the forums online is that the DJI Care Refresh, even though it's very useful and very important, it does take quite a while to get your Mavic Pro back. You know, there was one gentleman where I think it took 6 weeks to get his Mavic Pro back. Now, I'm not sure exactly what was wrong, but just be aware if you utilize the DJI Care Refresh, which I highly recommend, especially for beginners, that it may take a while to get your Mavic Pro back. The sixth thing that I want to mention is, you know, when you fly your drone, there's a lot of places that you can't fly it. You know, state parks, national parks, all kinds of things like that. But restricted areas aren't always necessarily restricted if you talk to the right people. You know, there was an instance where I wanted to fly in the state park for an event that was going on there, and I just talked to the guy in charge, and I told him what my intentions were, where I was going to fly, how long I was going to fly, and he actually gave me permission to fly in the state park, even though it's outlawed. So if there's somewhere that you want to fly, find somebody in charge, tell them what your intentions are, you know, what you want to get footage of, where you're going to be flying, and you never know, they might let you fly. It just depends on the situation. The seventh thing that I want to mention to you guys is that when you're flying your drone around the public, around people, they're always interested in what you're doing. For the most part, people are going to come up to you and say, hey, what's that? Can I check it out? But there's an equal number of people that are really skeptical about a drone flying overhead. Most of them are worried about privacy issues. Some of them are worried about safety issues. So I just want to mention to you guys, when you're flying somewhere around where there's a lot of people, just be aware that you're going to get people coming up to you and asking about your drone, but you're also going to get some people that are going to be very angry because you're invading their privacy. You know, I have one neighbor that lives relatively close that's very skeptical about drones, and he doesn't like things flying overhead, so I avoid his airspace as much as possible. You know, even though it's legal for me to fly over his property, I still avoid it as much as I can because, you know, you got to get along with your neighbors. And the eighth and final random thought that I want to mention to you guys, there's some accessories that you can get for your Mavic Pro. Now, I've reviewed a few of them. I use a lot of them, but there's 4 things that I think everyone should have for their Mavic Pro. Number 1, ND filters. Doesn't matter where you get them from. I use the ones from Polar Pro. Freewell also has some really good ND filters. You know, there's a lot of companies out there that make some quality products, but when it comes down to it, you get what you pay for. Second thing is a hard shell waterproof case. You know, a lot of people like soft cases, and that's great for quick trips and things like that. But if you're going somewhere where you're going to be moving your Mavic Pro a lot, I highly recommend a hard case. Get yourself a high quality gimbal clamp. The one that comes with your Mavic Pro is okay, but it does break. Mine broke right away, and I didn't even do anything out of the ordinary. So get yourself a quality gimbal clamp. And the fourth thing that I think everybody should have for their Mavic Pro is an aftermarket USB cable. I use this one from Anker. It works great. There's a lot of different ones out there. You guys can check those out. But they all work much better than those little cables that come with your Mavic Pro. You know, when I first got my Mavic Pro about 6 months ago, I knew that I was going to have fun with it, but I never realized how addictive of a hobby flying drones can be. And so about a couple of months ago, I decided that what could be better than owning one drone, but owning 2 drones. So, in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see us do an unboxing. I've been waiting to do this because I want to do it with my son, but we've been busy with school starting, and so we're going to do a DJI Spark unboxing, so keep watching for that. If you guys don't have a Mavic Pro and you're considering getting one, I'm going to put a link in the description where you can buy your Mavic Pro. If you click on that link, you're always going to get the latest, lowest price. And it totally helps out this channel so much. It helps us create more videos about learning how to fly the Mavic Pro and now learning how to fly the DJI Spark. You know, like I said, I've learned a lot over the past 6 months, but I know there's a lot more to learn, and hopefully I'll be able to share some of that information that'll help you guys out as we go through this drone journey together. If you got anything out of this video today, please click on that thumbs up button. That really helps out this channel a lot. Please comment below if you got any questions about this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you. You know, I'm pretty proud of my subscribers. We're really interactive. We talk a lot. We learn a lot from each other. So please click on that subscribe button and join us. I want to thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. And as always, fly safe and fly smart.